Have you ever walked into the bathroom after your elderly mother or grandmother and noticed a smell that just didn't seem normal, but you brushed it off as just aging? Maybe it was after a family dinner. She excused herself, took her time, and when you went in after, there it was. A lingering scent that caught you off guard. You didn't want to say anything. You didn't want to embarrass her. And maybe a small voice in your head said, "This is just what happens as people get older, right?" But deep down, something fell off. You told yourself it was nothing. She's clean. She showers. She's always been meticulous. It couldn't be anything serious, could it? But here's the thing no one tells you, and what most people don't want to admit. As we age, our bodies do change. Skin gets thinner. Hormones shift. Our immune systems slow down. And all of that can show up in the most unexpected places, like the bathroom. The truth? Those smells, they're not just awkward. They're not just about pride or cleanliness. They can be warning signs, clues that something in her routine, her health, or her dignity needs your attention. I know this is a tough subject. It's not something most families talk about over the dinner table. But if you care for an older woman, whether she's your mom, aunt, neighbor, or even yourself, this conversation matters. It matters more than you think. Because behind that odor could be a simple habit that's quietly harming her comfort, or even putting her health at risk. In this video, we're going to walk through 8 common bathroom habits that older women often develop, most of the time without even realizing it, that could be causing that smell. Some of these will shock you. Others might feel painfully familiar. But all of them? They're fixable. By the end, you'll not only understand what's going on, but you'll know exactly what you can do to help your loved one feel fresh, respected, and confident again. This isn't about shame. It's about awareness. It's about love. And it's about giving the women who raised us the care and dignity they deserve. So before we dive in, let me ask you, are you someone who wants your loved ones to age with comfort, dignity, and health? If so, comment "I care" down below. It might sound small, but it means something big to you, to me, and to everyone here in our health advice community. And hey, if you find value in this kind of honest, heartfelt health wisdom, hit that subscribe button. You're not alone on this journey. Now, let's talk about those 8 habits. The first one, most people would never suspect it. The first habit? It might seem small, almost harmless, but it's often the quiet culprit behind a persistent, unpleasant smell. Let me tell you about Mary. She's 72. Lively, independent, and still sharp as a tack. Lives alone, gardens every weekend, and bakes the best oatmeal cookies in her church group. But a few months ago, her daughter started noticing a faint, musty odor every time she hugged her mom. It wasn't overpowering, but it was there. Subtle. Lingering. She didn't know how to bring it up. I mean, how do you tell your mother, the woman who raised you, who always kept things spotless, that something just didn't smell right? Eventually, gently, she asked. And Mary, a little embarrassed, admitted, "Well, honey, I wear the same underwear for a couple of days. I don't go out much. I barely sweat. What's the harm?" This is more common than people think. And it doesn't come from laziness. It comes from logic that used to make sense, but no longer applies. As we age, our skin becomes thinner and more fragile. We sweat differently. The glands that used to produce oils slow down, but the body doesn't stop shedding skin, bacteria, or moisture. In fact, with slower metabolism and weaker immune responses, bacteria can grow faster in places we never expected, especially in warm, enclosed areas like undergarments. And unlike when we were younger, the body's natural filters like hormones, hydration levels, and circulation don't keep up the same way. So what seems like not that dirty can quickly become a breeding ground for odor-causing bacteria. Add in incontinence issues, even mild ones, and now you're dealing with trace amounts of urine or discharge sitting against the skin for extended periods. It doesn't take long for that to create an unmistakable smell. Now here's the key. We're not talking about shaming someone into doing laundry every day. This is about gently encouraging small, thoughtful changes. One of the easiest? Switch to breathable cotton underwear, the kind that allows airflow and reduces moisture buildup. No lace. No tight elastic. Just clean, soft, absorbent fabric that's kind to aging skin. And make daily changes a part of the routine, not an afterthought. You can even use drawer organizers to make clean pairs easier to grab. Or put out a reminder note near the shower. Small gestures can go a long way in restoring both hygiene and confidence. But listen, changing underwear alone? That's just the beginning. Because even the cleanest undergarments can't protect her if she's using this next common item, one that's been in her bathroom for years, and maybe doing more harm than good.
Let's talk about that next.
Let's talk about washcloths.
Soft,
familiar, and for many older women, part of a lifelong hygiene routine. Take Elaine, for example. She's 76, lives with her cat Misty, and keeps her bathroom spotless. But like a lot of women from her generation, Elaine doesn't believe in waste. So, she'd hang the same washcloth on the hook after every shower and use it again the next day. Sometimes for 3 or 4 days in a row. To her, it made sense. Why do more laundry, she'd say. I just use soap on it, it's clean. But what she didn't realize was that the washcloth wasn't just drying off. It was holding on to moisture, skin cells, and bacteria. You see, when a washcloth gets damp, it becomes the perfect environment for microbes. Warm bathroom air, no sunlight, and all those little crevices where bacteria love to multiply. Add that to the fact that aging skin sheds more slowly, and you've now got a cloth that, within 24 hours, starts to smell musty, sour, or just off. It might not seem noticeable at first, but odors build gradually.
You get used to them.
Others don't. And when someone is already dealing with reduced mobility, a weaker immune system, or even just thinner skin, reusing a bacteria-filled washcloth day after day doesn't just affect smell. It can lead to rashes, irritation, or worse. Now here's the kicker. Soap doesn't sterilize the cloth. That's a big misconception. Just because it feels clean after use doesn't mean it is. Soap helps remove oils and dirt from the skin, but when left on a damp fabric, it actually feeds the bacterial growth, especially if the cloth isn't washed properly between uses. So what can you do? Simple steps. Swap out washcloths daily. Have a basket with several soft, clean cloths ready to go, especially if laundry is only done weekly. Or better yet, for those who struggle with handling laundry, use unscented disposable hygiene wipes, the kind made for delicate skin. No washing, no reuse, and far less chance of bacteria building up. Make it easy. Keep it simple. This isn't about creating more work, it's about preventing those quiet causes of odor that can so easily be avoided with just a little shift in habit. Now, we've talked about what happens during the bath. But what happens after bathing is just as important. Because if the skin isn't treated properly once it's clean, especially in those hard-to-reach areas, you might be undoing all that hard work. Let's move into the next habit, one most people never think twice about, until the irritation and the smell creeps in. Let's talk about something almost nobody brings up, drying off
properly.
It sounds simple, right? But this next habit is one of the biggest silent causes of lingering body odor in older women, and many don't even know it's happening. Take Shirley. She's 80, strong-willed, independent, still insists on doing everything herself, even if it takes her a little longer these days. But Shirley started to notice something, a faint, sour smell that wouldn't go away. She changed soaps, switched lotions, washed her towels, but the odor stuck around. And it wasn't until her daughter visited and gently brought it up that Shirley realized the problem wasn't her soap. It was the water left behind after bathing. As we age, the skin changes. It becomes thinner, more delicate, and more prone to irritation. At the same time, areas like under the breasts, beneath the belly, between the thighs, and even under the arms become harder to fully dry, especially if flexibility is limited. Now here's what most people don't realize. Trapped moisture becomes a breeding ground for fungus and bacteria, and not the kind you can see with the naked eye right away. It starts invisible, quiet. You might just notice a musty, vinegary, or sour scent. But underneath, the skin is struggling. And many older women, like Shirley, do a quick towel rub after the shower, thinking they're dry enough. But rushing through, or missing the folds and creases. That's where the trouble begins. So what's the fix? A few gentle, intentional steps can make a world of difference.
Pat, don't rub.
Use a soft towel and gently press the skin dry, especially in folds. Rubbing can cause tiny abrasions that trap moisture even deeper. Use a low-heat blow dryer. Sounds unconventional, but it works wonders. On the cool or low setting, a quick pass with a blow dryer under the arms, under the breasts, between thighs, or in the groin area helps ensure total dryness, without having to twist or strain to reach. Apply talc-free body powder, especially in those areas where skin touches skin. Talc-free powders help absorb any leftover dampness and reduce friction, keeping things dry and comfortable throughout the day. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. When drying becomes an afterthought, the skin pays the price. But when done right, it prevents not only odor, but rashes, discomfort, and even infections. Now, let's shift gears. Because drying correctly is essential, but there's a big myth that many older women still believe. It's a habit that feels clean, smells clean, but in reality, might be silently causing the very odors it's trying to prevent. Let's talk about that next. You may be surprised. Let's talk about soap. Not just any soap, those pretty, perfumed, pastel-colored bottles labeled fresh, feminine, or floral. Joan loved them. She was 76, and every morning after her shower, she'd line them up on the bathroom counter like little trophies. Lavender, rose, even cucumber mint. She believed that if it smelled clean, it was clean. But there was a problem. No matter how often she bathed, no matter how much she scrubbed, there was still an odd, lingering odor she couldn't shake. So what did she do? She used more of the scented soap. Longer showers, extra lather, stronger scents. But it only made things worse. Here's the truth that so many women, especially older women, aren't told. The vagina is self-cleaning. It's designed to maintain its own natural balance of good bacteria and healthy pH. When you introduce harsh soaps, scented washes, or even feminine sprays, you're not helping. You're stripping away the very defenses that keep odor-causing bacteria in check. Think of it like a garden. You wouldn't pour bleach or perfume into your soil and expect your flowers to grow. The same goes for intimate care. As we age, the vaginal tissue becomes more sensitive. Hormonal changes during and after menopause lower estrogen levels, which already makes the area more prone to dryness, irritation, and shifts in pH. Now add strong soaps into the mix, and you've got a recipe for imbalance, infection, and odor. So where do we go from here? Skip the scents. That fresh linen or summer berries body wash. Keep it far away from delicate areas. It does more harm than good. Choose pH-balanced, fragrance-free cleansers. There are gentle washes made specifically to support vaginal health, without overpowering fragrances or chemicals. But even then, they should be used sparingly. Water is often enough. Yes, you heard that right. For most women, especially seniors with sensitive skin, lukewarm water alone is safe and sufficient for daily external cleansing. And here's the key. Feeling clean isn't about masking your natural scent. It's about preserving your body's natural balance. Joan learned that the hard way. After finally speaking with her gynecologist, she cut out all the scented soaps. Within weeks, the odor improved. The irritation disappeared. And she felt clean. Not perfumed, but truly healthy. Now, let's shift from soaps to something many people completely overlook, something that hides in plain sight and can make even the cleanest bathrooms smell anything but fresh. Let's talk about that next. You ever walk into a bathroom and think, smells clean enough, but something still doesn't feel right? That was Patricia's experience. She was 81, lived alone, and prided herself on keeping a tidy home. Her counters? Immaculate. Her floors? Spotless. And her toilet? Well, it looked clean. The water was clear. No visible stains. But when her daughter came to visit, she noticed a faint, unpleasant odor hovering in the bathroom. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was there. Persistent. Lingering. So she asked, "Mom, when was the last time you really cleaned the toilet?" Patricia paused. "Well, I flush every time, that keeps it clean, right? Here's what so many people don't realize, especially older adults. A toilet can look clean and still be crawling with bacteria.
Why?
Because of what you don't see. Urine splashback, even in tiny amounts, can land on the toilet seat, the underside, the base, and even the surrounding floor. Crevices around the hinges, under the rim, and along the tank can hold onto mold, mildew, and microscopic debris, especially in humid bathrooms where moisture lingers. And over time, residue builds up from skin oils, sweat, and just plain usage. That invisible grime is where odor comes from. And here's the kicker. Flushing? It doesn't clean anything. In fact, flushing without the lid closed can actually spray bacteria into the air, onto nearby surfaces, towels, and yes, even toothbrushes. So what's the fix? It's simpler than you think. Clean the toilet at least once a week. Not a deep scrub every time, but a thoughtful, intentional wipe down with a mild disinfectant. Focus on the rim, seat, and especially under the lid. Wipe around the base, where dust and urine drips love to hide. And don't forget the flush handle. It's touched every time, but rarely cleaned. And please, avoid harsh bleach-based products if the smell is too strong for seniors. A gentle vinegar water solution or mild antibacterial cleaner works just fine for routine maintenance. For Patricia, her daughter stepped in and gave the toilet a proper clean. The next day, that mysterious odor?
Gone.
Sometimes it's not about fixing the body, it's about fixing the environment. But now, let's shift from cleaning the toilet to something that happens after you use it. Something many of us learned the wrong way when we were young. Let's talk about wiping. Let's talk about something that rarely comes up in conversation, but quietly causes more problems than people realize. Wiping. Yep. Simple, everyday wiping. Now, you might think, really? At this age, do we need to be talking about how to wipe?
Yes.
We do. Because when Margaret, a 77-year-old widow, kept getting urinary tract infections,
Her doctor couldn't figure out why.
she was taking her medication, drinking water, bathing regularly. But those UTIs kept coming back, over and over again. Until one day, during a visit, her daughter noticed something. After using the restroom, Margaret reached for the toilet paper and wiped from back to front. That's all it took. That one habit, harmless as it may seem, was bringing harmful bacteria from the anal area directly toward the urethra and vaginal opening. And when you're older, your immune system isn't what it used to be. Tissues are thinner, more fragile, and the body can't fight off infections as easily. So bacteria that might have been brushed off in younger years? Now it causes burning, discomfort, even fever and hospitalization in some cases. What's the common mistake here? Many women, especially from older generations, learned to wipe this way as children. And nobody ever corrected it. Because who teaches you to unlearn hygiene habits once you're grown? But here's the thing. White heavy checkmark, always wipe from front to back. From the urethra toward the anus, not the other way around. It's a small change, but it's powerful. If arthritis or mobility issues make wiping difficult, consider using heavy checkmark, moist toilet tissue, or flushable wipes made for sensitive skin. Heavy checkmark, or even a bidet attachment, which can reduce the need to wipe altogether and is much gentler on aging skin. And for caregivers, this isn't always easy to talk about, but it's necessary. Because infections like UTIs can lead to serious complications in older women, delirium, falls, even sepsis. So please, gently talk about this with your loved one. Ask how they were taught to wipe. And, if needed, lovingly explain why this change matters, now more than ever. But don't go anywhere, because there's one item almost every bathroom has that many seniors should stop using immediately. Let's talk about the toilet itself. Or, more specifically, how long we sit on it. Let's be honest, no one wants to talk about this. Leaks. Accidents. That moment of surprise when the body doesn't cooperate the way it used to. But we need to talk about it, because pretending it's not happening? That's what leads to shame and silence. Clara, 81, was proud of her independence. She still drove herself to the grocery store, went to church on Sundays, and gardened every afternoon. But over time, her daughter began to notice something. The smell. It wasn't strong. Not at first. Just a faint, stale scent that lingered in the hallway, on the couch, in the laundry. Clara blamed it on the house being old, on the dog, on the weather. But eventually, it became undeniable. A closer look revealed that Clara had been having small leaks, tiny amounts of urine she didn't even feel sometimes. A little here when she coughed. A little there when she stood up too fast. Nothing dramatic, but enough to leave moisture in her underwear. Enough to soak into a pad she'd forgotten to change. Enough to cause that stubborn odor that clung to everything. And Clara? She was too embarrassed to say anything. She thought needing incontinence products made her less of the strong, capable woman she'd always been. So instead of addressing it, she ignored it. But here's the truth. Leaks happen. They happen because the pelvic muscles weaken with age. Because childbirth, menopause, chronic coughing, or even certain medications slowly wear down the body's ability to hold it in. And the more we pretend it's not happening, the worse it gets. Small leaks left unaddressed don't just lead to odor. They can cause skin irritation, rashes, bacterial infections, and they can slowly chip away at someone's dignity until they begin to avoid going out or seeing friends, or even letting loved ones come close. Here's what you need to know. White heavy checkmark modern incontinence products are discreet, breathable, and made to lock in odor. There is no shame in using them. White heavy checkmark, they should be changed regularly, not worn all day. A dry pad is a clean pad. White heavy checkmark, and if leaks are frequent or worsening, talk to a doctor. There are treatments, therapies, and even exercises that can help strengthen the pelvic floor. Sometimes it's not about fixing it overnight. It's about managing it with grace and giving our elders the tools to feel fresh, clean, and confident. So the next time you notice a faint odor that seems to follow someone, don't turn away. Don't pretend it's not there. Use it as a gentle sign and invitation to care a little deeper. Because aging isn't about giving up dignity, it's about finding new ways to preserve it. And that brings us to a powerful truth. These 8 habits we've talked about today, they may seem small, insignificant even, but added together, they quietly shape how older women feel about themselves, their comfort, their confidence, their relationships. So, if you've ever noticed a persistent smell around someone you love, look closer, not with judgment, but with understanding, because now you know what to look for. And more importantly, you know what to do. But we're not done yet. Let's take a moment now to reflect on the deeper side of this issue. The emotional part that isn't always easy to talk about but matters just as much. It's not easy. Watching someone you love slowly begin to struggle with things they once managed effortlessly. You remember when she was the strong one. The one who woke up early, packed your school lunch, scrubbed the floors, and made everything feel clean, safe. And now, you're the one noticing the smells, the skipped baths, the stained underwear in the hamper, and the quiet silence that follows, because she's too proud to ask for help. That moment, when roles begin to reverse, it can hit you harder than you expect. You might feel helpless, frustrated, even a little ashamed for noticing things you wish you hadn't. But here's the truth. This is not about blame. This is about love. These 8 bathroom habits we've explored, they're not just about hygiene. They're about dignity, about helping the women who raised us, cared for us, sacrificed for us, preserve the parts of themselves that still matter deeply. Odor isn't just physical. It's emotional. It carries shame, fear, and isolation, especially when no one talks about it.
But now you know.
You understand what's going on beneath the surface. You know that it's not just getting old. It's habits. It's biology. It's silence that needs breaking. So instead of turning away or brushing it off, lean in. Have the uncomfortable conversation. Check the washcloths. Offer a new set of underwear or a gentle reminder to clean the toilet. And do it with love, not correction. Because you're not being a caregiver. You're being a lifeline. A quiet champion behind the scenes, making sure your loved one gets to age with the same grace they gave you as a child. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to have all the answers. Sometimes just listening, just noticing. That's enough. And if you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. There are communities, support groups, resources out there, people who get it, who walk this path with you. So here's my gentle nudge to you right now. Take 10 minutes today.
Call your mom.
Visit your grandmother. Check in on your elderly neighbor. Not to fix them, but to offer comfort. To remind them that they matter, that they're seen, and that aging doesn't have to be lonely. Because when you show up with compassion, even the smallest act, like helping them pick a better cleanser, becomes an act of radical love. You are making a difference, even if they never say thank you, even if they don't fully understand it. And remember this, you're not expected to be perfect, just present. Caring for our elders? It's one of the hardest, most emotional things you'll ever do, but also one of the most sacred. And you're doing it right. Stay with me, because in just a moment, we'll recap everything we've covered today. And I'll show you how to keep this conversation going, not just here, but with the people who need it most. So, let's gently go over what we talked about today. The 8 bathroom habits that can lead to persistent odor in older women, and what we can do to help them stay fresh, healthy, and confident. First, we talked about not changing underwear daily, how that small habit, often overlooked, can trap odor and bacteria more than we realize. Then we looked at reusing washcloths or sponges. Even if they look clean, damp fabric is a perfect hiding place for bacteria. Improper drying came next. We learned that moisture trapped in skin folds can cause fungal issues and unpleasant smells. Then we addressed the overuse of feminine washes or scented soaps, products that disrupt the natural pH balance and do more harm than good. We talked about dirty toilets, how even clean-looking ones can host odor-causing germs if not disinfected regularly. Next came the wiping technique. Wiping from back to front might seem harmless, but it can introduce harmful bacteria and lead to infections. Then there was sitting too long on the toilet, something that seems harmless but increases the risk of odor, hemorrhoids, and even incontinence over time. And finally, we uncovered the hidden culprit, ignoring leaks or incontinence. A small leak left unaddressed can create a big impact on hygiene and on confidence. 8 habits, each one small on its own, but together, they can quietly chip away at a woman's sense of self. So let me ask you, which of these habits surprised you the most? Have you ever caught a glimpse of one in your mother, your grandmother, or maybe even in yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments. Because sometimes, your story is the mirror someone else needs. Your words might encourage another daughter, another caregiver, another concerned son to finally have that important conversation. And if this video helped you reflect, if it gave you a new way to think about elder care, or reminded you of someone you love, click that like button. It lets me know this message matters. And if you want more conversations like this, real, compassionate, and rooted in dignity, subscribe to Health Advice and be part of a growing community that puts wisdom, love, and respect at the center of aging. Because here, we don't just talk about health, we talk about heart. Before you go, let me leave you with this. Aging isn't something to be fixed, it's something to be understood. And understanding starts with little things like washcloths, clean toilets, gentle words, and quiet patience. So thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being the kind of person who sees beyond the surface. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next video, right here on Health Advice. Stay kind, stay present, and stay human.